Hi, my name's Wilx, and this is episode 12 of FTB Continuum. Well, today we're going to deal with a genetic replicator. That means that we're going to be able to make our own princesses without having to run out in the world and search for them. Now, they're only going to be ignoble, but we can, in Gendustry, we can put devices in there that stop them from deteriorating. So that's not so bad. And we can actually print our own bees. On top of that, we're going to play a little bit more with Xnet. We'll do a slightly more complicated than last time's setup so you can see how all that fits together. We're going to make a temporal bee. Temporal bee speeds up time around it, both for bees and for machines. And it's kind of fun to get there. It involves some explosions and stuff, so I thought I'd do that bee breeding on screen. And then we're going to take a little bit more of a step in the quests so that we can get up to the Magma Crucible and the fluid transposer so that next episode we can start getting involved in things like ender chests and stuff. So let's get started with the things that are going to take a little bit of time here. We're going to start making some machine frames. To do that, we need these plates. The recipe for them is I took blocks of emerald, put them in a compressor. They make 9 at a time. That all went pretty damn quick. And then we get our data storage. We take those. I'm making 6 machine frames. I only need 2 for right now, but I hate having to go through this every time I need a machine frame. So we get 6 data control units. Come over here. Put them in there. And that's our machine frames. These are titanium plates. I showed you how to get those. And I made all this other stuff before. Notice it's got a power upgrade in there. Shift and start. And I'll make the 6 of them 1.2 minutes each. As well, we are making some redstone reception coils. I made a second power upgrade. I told you I might do that last episode. Made a second one. Start on that. They're a lot quicker. Let's show you what's going on down below there. I did place all those blocks after I made them last time. So these, see, the electricity jumps off the top of those things. So those are the RF control units. These are the RF storage units. I put down the 6 of them. There's another one hiding back there. So there's 7 total because I got one from a quest. Connected it all up to power. All right. So that covers this stuff for right now. We'll let it do its processing. In the meantime, we'll get on to what I consider the fun part. So, the genetic replicator. Standard bee stuff. Nothing really interesting there to show you. Same thing over here, standard bee stuff for a protein liquifier. We need one of those to feed fluids to the other one. And we'll come back over here. And I put down a stone drum. They're cheap. And we're going to put some of these on it. Control for this one because it's going into the drum. This side is coming out of the drum. So we're going to go shift. And then we're going to take that, place it there. Is our placed? Yeah. The liquifier goes down here. Oh, I even picked it up again to make sure that it was going to do its thing. Only when I'm recording. There we go. And those two, like that. And we also have to put something else on this as well. Put it on top. So control again, because we're going in. And we'll place down this drum. Now this is liquid DNA. Not to be confused with the other DNA that we had over there, which we got from the genetics machines. That's called raw DNA. It's a different DNA. This is the Gendustry liquid DNA. And the way we got that is, remember when I put bees through here to make gene samples, I get a bunch of gene samples that I didn't want. Then I would throw this lever. They would get fed down into here. Gene samples would go in, a little bit of liquid DNA each time would be shoved up into this drum here. We've almost filled a second drum, so we get to use this drum now. But we've got to feed meat to this somehow. Now there's a connector under there and Xnet running over. So I'm just going to do this very quick for right now. I'll come back and do it in a little more depth later. But we're just going to get this set up. So there we're giving it power. And there we're going to create a whitelist for the meat. Now this thing's being fed beef now, going in there, and then going in here. So where did I get this meat from? Look at all this meat in here. What's it doing there? Where'd that come from? We have a big bad queen. What's a big bad queen? Well, it's a few steps involved, but nothing particularly interesting or difficult. So mysterious is esoteric and eldritch. Esoteric is eldritch and cultivated. Eldritch is cultivated in a bunch of different hive bees that it can be. Oh, and the other thing that it has is sulking. Sulking is eldritch and modest, another hive bee. So not particularly difficult, and boy, does this thing spit out the meat. 12% chance of getting raw beef, 12% chance of getting raw chicken, so a 24% chance of getting some sort of meat. Compare that to our diamond bees that we've got over here. These things have a 1% chance of spitting out a comb, compared to a 24% chance. Huge difference. So I want some more diamond bees, because I'm just not getting enough of them. Like I had the emeralds, and they're a 2% chance, and they were running for much longer. So I got lots of emeralds now. I got like 500 of them. I've got 29 from diamonds so far from bees, and I have some diamonds from mining. But they're a bottleneck for a whole pile of things. I'm short diamonds. So I'm going to make a bunch more diamond bees. And we're going to, here's our genetic template for the diamonds. I'm going to stick that. Notice this has, this template has all of the chromosomes filled in. All of them must be filled in to be put in here. And see, this thing is putting out its thing right away. But we'll leave that thing go. Let's go talk about this. I promised you I'd deal with that. Let's show you underneath first. So what's happening is power is cut. That's my bee that has the power in it. Oh, can't touch it that way. There. So that's the energy queen. Power comes out down through this line. It's being fed directly into the controller, and it just happened to touch two of these. So I've got blue connectors for both sides on that cable. The cable runs along down here underneath all the industrial apiaries. Also runs through here in between three lines of 6 of centrifuges, so 18 of them. It is 6, yeah. And then it comes to a large storage crate, and we have squeezers for over here. I built 5 of them. I probably only needed like about 3, but I had a huge backlog of stuff, so I overbuilt. I'm going to show you one other thing. For this, so that I can tell the different crates, because I might use more than one storage crate on it. If I want to label it, I named this one Honey. See, the other ones are not named, just this one. So if I had another chest or something, or another storage crate, it wouldn't have the same name. All right. Oh, and I didn't finish off down there. The line also continues to run along here to a slave controller for the drawers and a crafter. Notice in the crafter we've got some diamond and some tin grains, and it also gets the emerald grains as well. By the way, tin grains are totally useless. You cannot use them. Let's tin grains. Oh, those are platinum. Sorry. Tin was the one we wanted. So tin, it comes out of the tin comb, which came off of the tarnished. So I'd made a tarnished. I got myself some tin combs. But if we look at the tin grains, use. What do you mean, no use? What do you mean, no use? Can't use them. And this happens for a lot of different grains, actually, in this pack. So go over to iron. Oh, iron you can use. Gold you can't. Silver you can. Oh, platinum you can't either. But a lot of the better stuff, this stuff you can. So it's really the, you can use tungsten, you can use titanium, etc., right? So the better stuff you can. It's just the a lot of the low-level stuff didn't seem to pass over. That's a bug. Probably will get fixed. If you're watching this episode later, they may have already fixed it. All right. So setting this thing up. So we did our first line with power. We called it power. And it's powering each of the, there's an input on each of the machines that need power. We had, this is a glass fiber cable, so is that. Comes in both there. We could power the controller through this as well, so we would press that, create. Now the controller, you always want to make sure that it has power. So let's say you were short power, you'd give it a higher priority to make sure the controller had power. Otherwise the whole network shuts down and nothing gets power. So our second line here, we've got the industrial apiaries. They are all sending the stuff out to this chest here. It's got an input on it. Then from on our next line, this is from the chest, and it's going into the centrifuges. So they're all getting inputs on the centrifuges, and it's exiting here. And you know what this one was. This is where we put in our beef and chicken. So on to our fourth line. These are all the green ones are items. Yellow is power. Blue is liquids. And when you're creating the channel, that's how you set it up. So like if I was creating an 8th channel, I could do energy or logic or storage or item or fluid. But we're not doing any of that. So we were on to the third one, right? No, we were on to the fourth one. Okay, so from the chest that is honey, because it was input for, no, it's input on a chest. I named this chest honey. And it's getting it from the centrifuge. So all of them are feeding what it can into there. And that's all that's on it, is the inputs from the centrifuges. Then out of that chest, we have it exiting here, and it's going as an input into the squeezers. All the squeezers are getting inputs from that chest. As well, there is an input down here on the crafter. Notice it's got one emerald fragment, but you saw diamonds and tin and other stuff in there. I think they all have the same ore dictionary. So it just doesn't care which one it is. It does all of the above. Then for our sixth line, again we're coming out of this. And you see why I did it as a separate one this time around. Because it's also coming out of here. And this is coming out as propolis and phosphorus. And these are going into the controller slave. So all that stuff is being shuffled into there. All these things. And then the final one is our, actually I think I missed something on the 5th one. No, I didn't. What's there? Okay, I covered that. Okay, and this one's the liquid one. So it's going into the advanced tank that I showed you, that big long tank that was there. And it's coming out of here. So all the honey is basically coming out of there and going, the liquid honey coming out of there and going into there. So that is it for all of this. Okay, we come over here, we look, we've got a diamond queen. Notice it's ignoble. It's done exactly to those traits, and I'll start making another one. I could automate this, but I'd be afraid that I'd end up with like 50 of them or something, and I didn't want, I'd wasted all my materials. So I'd rather just pull them out because I'll only do a few at a time. All right, next up, I consider this part a fun part. We're going to make ourselves a mad scientist. And a mad scientist involves explosions. What am I talking about? Okay, let's come over here. The way this works is I'm going to put the engineer in there, and then when I go to put the science in and they combine together, there has to have been a recent explosion for it to mutate into the next step up to mad scientist. So mad scientists want to see explosions. So this is just the dispenser that I was using to place wood before. I picked it up. And we're going to put in, let's try 3. I think I'm fairly quick. Oh, let's put this on our bar. Our B there, that on our bar. And do we need to eat? No, we don't. Okay. So we'll put this down. It's set to the default 100. Whoa. I think we already got it. Oh, it still got me back here. Oops, I didn't need to do that again. There we go. We got those. Let's eat because we took some damage. Okay, we want a couple more of these. Whoops. That's enough. Okay. Now we're going to take a phantasmal bee. We're going to come over here, put the phantasmal bee in there, and one of our mad scientists. And you can get either the quantum charming or the strange. Now normally I would expect to get a quantum charming as a purebred. Not this case. These ones are strange. So let's keep to the name, and we'll do the strange right now. Now I'll deliberately do it over here so you know there's no funky business going on. We'll just put it in here. Actually, I wonder. No, I'm not putting it in there. Let's do something different. I have an idea. Hate getting ideas on camera. Everything messes up after that. Where is it? Over here. A bee house. I'll bet you it stays purebred if we stick it in a bee house. It did. Okay, if I had to put it in a regular apiary, it would have split up into halves and halves. Why would it do that? Well, let me show you what the problem is. Okay. So, if you notice, if you take a quantum strange and a quantum strange, you combine them together, you get a quantum charming. Not another quantum strange, you get a quantum charming. So it messes up when you put it in a regular apiary. But if we put them in here instead, let's grab our other. Show you that again. We did quantum strange last time, so we'll do quantum charming this time. Because I also want to check and make sure it's not a fluke. I don't really need to be doing this right now, because I don't care about saving these guys. And boom, we've got it again. Well, I'm not going to try to save them, so I'm just going to use them right away. I'll just use one of these. And that gives us our temporal queen. There we go. Now, let me just put it in here, it doesn't matter. Since I'm not automating it anyways. Now, what we would do with that normally is I would come over here and I would add this template, which is, it's 13 chromosomes in it. But take a look at, it's got shortest lifespan. I want the lifespan off of this B. It's got an immortal lifespan, so I don't want to lose that. So what I'm going to have to do, if it's immortal, no matter how long I run it for, it's not going to die. I'm going to have to sit there, and I could put it in one of the semi-automated ones. For instance, I could come over there with semi. Well, okay, but first I need to do a fertility 4. Do I have something that's not going to change lifespan and fertility 4? Yeah, lifespan short. So I need to. This is why I save so many of these things. Fertility 4. I have to do a separate one. We come over here, we grab one of these. That gives us our fertility 4. Did we want to do anything else to this? Yeah, maybe. We could make it work in the dark and tolerant and cave dwelling and stuff. Yeah, let's do that. Whoops. So, cave dwelling, tolerates rain, never sleeps. We'll do all of those for it as well. There we go. So then we put it here with our new template. What was that one? Oh, effect none. Definitely don't want to run it through that. Put both of those in there. And then after it's been run through like that, and it does 4 drones at a time, I'm not going to do this part on camera, but I would put it in something automated, like maybe this thing over here, or use a Yeti or something, and make lots of drones, and then take the drones till I get the immortal trait, because I'd like to have the immortal trait off of this. And also, oh yeah, and also get the temporal trait as well. I want both of those. And this one, because it's different and I don't want to get confused or make mistakes. Whoops. No, it doesn't. The P doesn't go in there. P goes in here. Let's see if we get lucky right off the bat. That would be funny. Nope. All right. So that covers off our temporal B. I'm not going to play around with it right now. I want to get the traits off of it before I start putting it into production. So on to our Magma Crucible and stuff. We now have machine frames. And redstone reception coils. And that finishes off quest. And then we put them in here. Put a machine frame there and there. And a coil there and there. And that gives us our Magma Crucible and our fluid transposer. And that finishes off another quest. So why was I pushing to get to those in particular? Well, quests. We just did these two, which opens this up for us. So we can now make ender chests. Well, why did we have to wait for those things to make an ender chest? As you can see, we need these. Rether pearls. RE pearls. I don't know. And you need resident ender in an Efab. Now, in this case, you cannot put it in the smeltery. So you can't get resident ender that way. We have to use the Magma Crucible. And that's how you get the resident ender. And then we can make them from there. So that's the basics for this one. I want to ask you some questions just before we finish this off. I've been getting lots and lots of stuff from bees. Oh, I've got a silky miner out there now. I don't know that I showed you that last time. So the silky miner is bringing in all solid ores as well, because I noticed that I am going to need some other stuff. In particular, of the ores that I bring in, are there any ores I wouldn't want to put in the industrial grinder? Because the industrial grinder usually gives you extra things. Like if you put redstone in there, it gives you some glowstone. If you put copper in there, it gives you some gold. Silver gives you zinc. And there's lots of things I have to put in there, like the bauxite and the ruby ore and things along those lines. Is there anything I wouldn't want to put in the industrial grinder for ores? Then once I have the dust that come out of it, I know I want to put the bauxite and the ruby dust in the electrolyzer. And I want to save the phosphorus dust for the tier 4 structural frames. So Omega Dino suggested that one to me. And then I wouldn't have noticed that one on my own. And then the garnet dust goes in the industrial centrifuge. But other than those 4 dusts, bauxite, ruby, phosphorus, and garnet, actually there's 2 garnets, there's a red and a yellow. Other than those, is there any other dusts that don't get cooked? And for the dusts that do get cooked, is the electric furnace the best thing to put it into? I tested it out. It worked pretty damn fast. I was quite happy with the way it was working. But there could be a reason, some other machine that does better at something or other. triples them or something. I don't know. Then the final question on it is, I've wanted to try Yaba for a while, but every time in these types of packs, they seem to make Yaba more difficult than drawers, more expensive than drawers. And I think that's the case. It's sort of like trying to compare apples to oranges when you try to work out the prices on quantities, because they're not listing any quantities. Bad documentation. I can't find the actual figures for Yaba to compare it to drawers and find out which costs more for more storage or not. Yaba does have one interesting feature. The drawers don't have to be connected. They just have to be within a certain distance of the controller. It's sort of wireless the way it does it, which is interesting, but I really don't care that much. I can connect them. I'm fine with that. I'd like your opinions on which are drawers better or Yaba better, particular features that are better between one and the other, cost, which one costs less for more storage, etc. I know drawers has a lot of features that I will make use of that I'm not sure Yaba has all of those features. I'm just not clear because I haven't been able to find really good documentation on Yaba yet. All right, so that's it for this episode. I hope you got something worthwhile of it. I had some fun with it. Go out there and have some fun yourself. Thanks.